Our scripture reading for this morning comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verses 6 and 7. Do not exalt yourself in the king's presence, and do not claim a place among his great men. It is better for him to say to you, "Come up here," than for him to humiliate you before his nobles. This is a word from the Lord. Thanks be to God. Let us pray. O Lord, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight. For this I pray. Amen. So have you ever been unexpectedly upgraded and given a better class of accommodation than you had paid for or really even expected? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Getting a hotel suite when you paid for a single bed, or getting a sports car when you rented an economy, or getting first class when you paid for coach. I mean, it's a pretty good feeling. Those are the wonderful little surprises that we sometimes get in life. That unexpected bonus or change that makes the hassle or aggravation all worth it. Those little extras make us feel good. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we enjoy being elevated into a completely different class of service than we're either expecting or, frankly, what we're used to. I mean, you got to admit, there are definite differences between a penthouse suite and a lower floor room, or a high-end sports car versus the economy model. First class is worlds away from coach, even though you get there at the same time. So I think we can appreciate the upgrade when it occurs, and we can bask in that unexpected luxury. So this proverb for today is a familiar one to us. I mean, not only here in the book of Proverbs, but we know Jesus uses it as well to frame out a parable. And the occasions are different, but the sentiment behind them is still the same. The proverb reads, "Do not exalt yourself in the king's presence, and do not claim a place among his great men. It's better for him to say, 'Come up here,' than for him to humiliate you before his nobles." So if you look at the back of your bulletin or up on the screen, there we go. This is a picture of the ancient banquet. So I invite you now to enter into a different world. This is a world that is governed by status, rank, etiquette, and privilege. So the host of the gathering occupies that very center place. And the people to his direct left and right, they occupy the places of honor. And then the lower your rank or your status, the farther away you were from your host. You probably also noticed they reclined to eat, resting on their left arm while eating with the right. The couches shared tables, and it was open in the center so that servants could bring food to and from the kitchen, and so that entertainers could perform. There's also a very strict hierarchy that determined where you reclined. Your place was commensurate with your rank, your position, your dignitas, your public standing. The more important you were, the closer you sat to your host. If you remember in the Gospels, James and John, they demanded the place to the right and to the left of Jesus. And he told them, be careful what you wish for. Okay, so this is the ancient banquet. I wanted you to have kind of that in your mind as we go through this. And we see echoes of this still today. I mean, we've all been to the fancy dinners. You know, the ones that had a raised table on the dais where the dignitaries or the speakers sat while other tables were scattered about the room. Though I can't say I've ever had the opportunity to recline while dining in a formal setting. You got to admit, it would be kind of neat, I think. But throughout the dinner, some tables were claimed, others were sponsored. And I'll be honest, I usually sat as far away from the dais as possible, closest to the door. So, I mean, honestly, I've got enough trouble remembering which fork or spoon I'm supposed to use. But every situation, no matter our place in history, has its own etiquette and protocol. So the proverb for today, we have to remember, was written to a different audience. It was one steeped in custom, bearing, and privilege. Remember, it said, when you're invited into the king's presence, do not elevate you above your station. So the proverb is directed to ambitious young people, the ones who sought to curry favor with the king, to make a name for themselves within the court. And how do you do that? By getting as close as you can to your Lord and Sovereign. You make yourself memorable and familiar. And the proverb reminds us of the danger inherent in moving too quickly, casting too high an aim, and namely getting called out and humiliated because you sat in a place reserved for someone of higher rank. I mean, it makes us feel good to be elevated to a higher position. But there is great shame in being moved to a lower seat, albeit if it is one that's appropriate with one's rank and station. It's why during communion, I invited all of you forward to come closer, so you didn't have to sit necessarily in the back. Jesus understood all of this. He received an invitation to dine with the chief Pharisee on the Sabbath. I mean, Jesus was one of many guests. And no doubt when Jesus entered into the dining room, he took the seat closest to the door, the one with the least status, the one farthest away from his host. But then I begin to wonder, where did the host intend for Jesus to sit? I mean, in terms of the social hierarchy, no doubt Jesus was in the lowest tier. He was not a Pharisee. He was not a scholar in the temple. Jesus was not one of them. He was an outsider. He was an adversary. But what if his host had intended for Jesus to sit by him on his left at the main table, in the place of great honor, only for that couch to be taken by another? I mean, honestly, it was bound to happen because this group did not respect Jesus. He was not one of them, even if his knowledge of Scripture and law was so vast. That knowledge would not bring him any respect in their eyes. Jesus was truly an outsider. So imagine the host whispering quietly but frantically to his steward or to another guest about the seating arrangement and how to rectify it. The coming humility of a high-ranking Pharisee, the one who normally occupied that position, versus an invited outsider who should rightfully occupy that particular couch. Yet I'm sure Jesus reclined contentedly in the lowest place, just watching with amusement as the spectacle unfolded before his eyes, as embarrassment grew and humiliation approached. Jesus understood the wisdom of claiming a lower place for himself. He didn't demand an upgrade. He didn't go and claim a better seat or a fancier accommodation. See, Jesus knew what dynamics were at play here. And so he shifted the onus from himself onto a usurper and exposes them to greater shame, all for the sake of honor. See, Jesus reminds us that we need to keep that sense of humility and not to draw undue attention onto ourselves or make ourselves into a spectacle. I mean, don't be the person who expects preferential or special treatment. Don't ask for undue favors, but instead, in your heart, you maintain a sense of humility and humbleness. Because it's far better to be invited to come forward than it is to be relegated back to a lower seat. Think for a moment when you've witnessed this opposite of someone demanding special treatment and demonstrating their entitlement. Have you ever been in line waiting to check into a hotel and the person ahead of you demands an upgrade? They want a suite despite reserving a single. You check in for your flight and someone is sitting in your first-class seat, even though they paid for the economy. The sense of entitlement is very real. And those type of people, they demonstrate just how small they really are. I mean, it is cliche, but I have heard people say, "Do you know who I am?" The same holds true in our faith. Jesus tells us about people within the church, within the synagogue. They want to be seen. They want to show off just how pious and religious they are, how free from sin they are, how well they follow the law or the tenets of the church. They show off and denigrate others that fall short of the mark. Our faith and our practice, it's not about showing how religious we are, about how well we know the Bible, how well we know everything that goes on within the life of the church. But rather, it's about defining our relationship with God. We don't try to get God's attention with our prayers or our supplication. We don't try to show off by doing all kinds of good works that make us feel good when others come and pat us on the head. We should not and do not do these things for honor or recognition, but rather we remain humble in our faith. So the thing is, we let God, what you want to do is let God lift you up. Things change when we are touched by the holy. It's energizing and it is invigorating. So when God does it and moves in our lives, it is something that is absolutely amazing. And you know, God always seems to do a much better job than any of us when it comes to honoring and lifting. I mean, it also bears out another kernel of wisdom from the Proverbs. You trust in the Lord with all your heart, and you don't rely on your own insight. God calls us to serve and to be humble in our lives. That means we are supposed to go out of our way to lift other people up and not tear them down. We strengthen them, we edify them, and we don't befuddle. We honor and never humiliate. I mean, we can never hope to repay God for the blessings of our lives. God created us. God endowed us with ability and told us to go forth and to be fruitful. And the only thing God asks is that we live our lives to be worthy of the God that created us. And you know what? It is something we can never hope to replay or claim on our own. Yet God invites us in. God invites us to sit in the place of honor, to be a part of the family of God, to share in the bounty that has been provided, and also not for us to not worry so much, but instead to trust in the Lord. So we must do the same. We need to glorify God in how we live. We need to show that we belong to God by how we act in the wider community. We need to go out and proclaim a God of love and mercy and grace to all we meet. So when we go out, we do so as the invited people of God, people who have claimed the place of honor. And you know what? It's not necessarily the one by the host. I'll argue it's the one by the door, where we can go out and be first to share the Lord our God with all we meet. Consider this next week your ideas about honor, but also about grace and mercy. And share the love of God as you go about your daily work. Amen.